Imagine losing your mother at the age of 9. Imagine failing in business, sinking into debt, and being laughed at by your own neighbors. Imagine running for public office and being rejected not once, not twice, but over and over again, year after year. Most people would have given up, but one man refused. And because of his refusal, he didn't just change his own life, he changed the destiny of an entire nation. His name was Abraham Lincoln. Born in 1809 in a small log cabin in the backwoods of Kentucky, Lincoln's childhood was anything but easy. His father was a struggling farmer, moving the family constantly in search of better land. His mother, Nancy, died when he was still a boy, leaving a wound in his heart that would never fully heal. But even in that world of hardship, young Abraham carried something rare, an unshakable hunger for learning. He had less than a year of formal education, but he taught himself to read by the dim light of a fireplace. Neighbors would recall seeing a tall, skinny boy walking miles just to borrow a single book. Books became his teachers. Knowledge became his weapon. Even though he had no wealth, no connections, and no privilege, Lincoln dared to dream of something greater. But dreams do not come without struggle. Lincoln's life was marked by failure after failure, the kind of failures that crush most men. At 23, he ran for the state legislature. He lost. Soon after, he tried to start a business. It collapsed, leaving him buried in debt that would take years to pay off. At 26, the love of his life in Rutledge died suddenly, plunging him into a deep depression so dark that some feared he would never recover. But Lincoln tried again. He ran for Congress. He lost. He ran for Senate. He lost. He tried again and lost again. The whispers grew louder. He's not fit for politics. He's wasting his time. He'll never amount to anything. Even his closest friends sometimes wondered if his defeats would finally break him. Imagine the sting of standing before crowds, pouring your heart into speeches, only to watch your opponent's name celebrated while your own hopes collapsed in silence. Lincoln himself once said, "I am the most miserable man living. If what I feel were equally distributed to the whole human family, there would not be one cheerful face on the earth." He knew loneliness. He knew despair. He knew the weight of failure in its heaviest form. But here's what set Lincoln apart. He refused to let failure define him. Every loss carved a deeper sense of purpose inside him. Every setback became a lesson, sharpening his vision of the America he believed could exist. The turning point came in the 1850s. The nation was being torn apart by the issue of slavery. While others looked away, Lincoln stepped forward. He gave a series of powerful speeches that lit a fire in people's hearts. His words were not polished by privilege, but sharpened by pain, loss, and perseverance. He realized something profound. His failures had not been a chain, they had been a training ground. From that moment, Lincoln rose with relentless determination. He spent endless nights refining his speeches, studying law, and mastering the art of persuasion. His voice grew stronger, his vision clearer. When he debated the powerful Senator Stephen Douglas, crowds flocked to listen. Though Lincoln lost the Senate race, his words spread across the nation. Newspapers printed them. Ordinary men and women saw in him something rare, a leader who understood their struggles because he had lived them. And then, against all odds, in 1860, Abraham Lincoln, the boy born in a log cabin, the man who had failed more times than most ever try, was elected the 16th President of the United States. But his story didn't end with victory. In fact, his presidency plunged him into the greatest trial of all the Civil War. The nation fractured. Blood spilled across the land and enemies surrounded him, not only on the battlefield, but even within his own cabinet. Newspapers mocked him. Generals defied him. Families cursed his name. Yet Lincoln carried the weight of the Union on his shoulders with the same resilience that had carried him through a lifetime of failures. He signed the Emancipation Proclamation, a bold act that declared freedom for enslaved people in Confederate states. And when the war finally ended, it was Lincoln, the man who had lost everything so many times, who stood as the symbol of unity, freedom, and perseverance. He had become not just the president of a nation, but a voice for humanity. Abraham Lincoln's life teaches us this. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is the foundation of it. Every rejection, every heartbreak, every defeat carved the strength that would one day hold a nation together. Had he given up after his first loss or his 10th? The world might never have known the Lincoln who ended slavery, preserved the Union, and became a legend of history. So if you feel like life has knocked you down, if you've lost more than you've gained, remember this: the story isn't over yet. Your failures are not your ending, they are your preparation. Thank you for watching this story of Abraham Lincoln, a man who lost everything but gained the world. If his journey inspired you, share this video with someone who needs hope today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because we bring you powerful stories every week that remind you, no matter how many times you fall, you can always rise again.